I spent much of my fall doing what many of you were doing this fall, and that was watching in the papers and in the press the unfolding of corruption trials having to do with our former Speaker and former President of the Senate. And it was an incredible process to follow, because if you remember from these corruption trials, the defense that was put forth was that it was a way of doing business. It was Albany's way of doing business. And I can honestly say, for the first time in my life, I looked at the comments of the former Speaker, and I said, you know what? My God, he's right. He's absolutely right. This is the way Albany does business. But you know what? As the jury found out, it's also illegal. The way we do business, many elements of it are illegal. And at the very least, they are unethical. We have sat in this chamber a year ago when the initial trials, the initial charges came down, and we heard how we were going to change the way we do business, that it was not acceptable anymore, that we have new leadership in the chamber, that it was going to be different. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a year later, and I don't see anything any different. When you talk to your constituents at home, are you hearing something different than what you heard a year ago, or maybe a year before that? I don't see it happening. An interesting comment was made in the press in the last 24 hours, to the extent that the feeling, well, you need 76 votes to pass a bill. But no, leadership was saying you need 76 votes of the majority party to pass the bill. Well, could someone in this chamber show me in our Constitution where it says you need 76 majority members to vote up on a bill to get it passed? Because I don't see that. The Constitution put forth by our founding fathers said 76 members of the House. That includes everybody. And there's a very important distinction for that, because what that does, it allows for the vetting of ideas from people across the state, not just people of a particular political persuasion, but of everybody. And that is very, very important. And I spoke on this last year when I talked about the entire process here, the entire legislative process is meant to be a vetting of ideas put forth by people representing others around the state. It is not supposed to be pushing forward a particular political agenda. And unfortunately, here in New York State, what's happened is it has come down to that. It has become a political process. And you know what? It's not just members of the minority party who get hurt by this. It's all of you, too. I've had members on both sides of the aisle say, I can't get a bill to the floor. The only people who can get a bill to the floor are the leadership and the people who are tapped on the shoulder by leadership. That's not an effective way of vetting of ideas, and that certainly doesn't benefit the people of this state. Now, we have these 13 resolutions. I will speak on the first one, and this one would put term limits, 4 consecutive 2-year terms on the majority leader and the minority leader. And it's important because we're not trying to squelch the power of the majority. What we're trying to do is to open up a process for everybody. And that means term limits in the minority as well. This is a very important part of trying to open up the process to get faith back in government from the people we represent. And I'll tell you quite frankly, after watching everything that happened in the press, I didn't come here to be painted with that brush. I did not come here so that I can go home and I can be thought of as some corrupt politician who's off in Albany. This is the last time I will be bringing this up. And I can tell you, we have got to do something, and we got to do it now. I am not going to go to my deathbed saying I just played the game. I'm going to go to my deathbed and I'm going to say, you know what, I did everything I could for everyone in my district, not just the people who elected me, but everyone. I didn't serve the Republicans, I served the people of this state, and that's what this is all about. Thank you.